Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm trying to catch up on some filming because I understand it's been a while, it's been a minute, and I got stuff delivered to me like right as I was like, well good, this has to go in a box and we have to move. And then we didn't have a lot of time because we had to put in floors and just generally do a lot of house projects before we get settled, and then we went back to work. So anyway, you didn't care about that, but that's it anyway. Jesus. So today I'm going to be showing you swatches and a look with the Adept Cosmetics Ninhydrin palette. That's this one. The reason is because it is going to restock this Saturday, which is May. Oh, I should look at a calendar. I can't. Today is this 27th, 28th, 29th. So it is restocking Saturday, May 29th. I think for the last time at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard. You should double check the time if you really want it, but I think it's 11 a.m. So I figured I would get swatches out really quick for you. So this is one of the things that got delivered to me sort of right at the cusp of moving. I have used it a couple of times. The formula is the same as in Plain Jane, which we have seen before. And the difference here is that Ninhydrin comes with two mattes. This one and this one. I had not previously tried Adept Cosmetics matte formulas. This was a first for me, but I do like it. I know some people say it's not their favorite, but not favorite doesn't mean worst, and it's just a matte formula as far as I'm concerned. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it. We're gonna swatch this way, and there are some different formulas in this one. So the Plain Jane was all their iridescent, which was ACI. This one has the two mattes as well as a diamond, which is ACD. So I will call that out when they're different. If I'm not calling it out, it's because they're the ACI formula. So let's go ahead and start with the matte. So that is matte number 31. I'm just gonna build it up for opacity. It's sort of a dusty gray purple. This is the diamond shade ACD 18. In the pan, it's a very light pink, and then you swatch it and it's a pink with a gold reflect. The next one is ACI 18. So the ACI is the Plain Jane formula. That's that swatched on the finger. So it's kind of a rose with a little, it's kind of like a true rose gold almost. And then ACI 22 is the next one in the palette. In the pan, it looks, you can see a lot of the gold green, but it does have a shift, and there's sort of an orangey red base there. That was a really poorly spaced swatch, wasn't it? So you can see that. The next one is the matte, matte number 32, and this one's like it's a brown, but with almost like a camel-y, but still somehow cool tone. It's a really interesting matte shade, and I like it quite a bit because it does kind of work to be grungy. The next one is ACI 19. And this one is like a nice purple green shift. We have ACI 20. Oh God. And this is one of those, just the like blue purple color that kind of messes with your eyes. I'm gonna build that one up just to see if we can get, yeah, more of the shine to it. Very cool. ACI 21. This one feels a little bit drier to the touch as opposed to the more like almost gel-like textures of them. And you can see how it swatches, like the dryness is what causes that right there. But a very pretty blue. The next shade is the named shade in the palette. So it's called Ninhydrin. So it's the namesake shade. And it's kind of a gray purple shimmer. Very pretty. ACI 23, which has a similar texture to this dark blue, but it's a purple. ACI 24, which is just sort of like an oil spill. Kind of blue, kind of purple, kind of green. Very pretty. And then the last shade of the palette is ACI 25, which is a very green shade. So I like that one quite a bit. So that is the whole palette swatched out. I think they're gorgeous, gorgeous colors. I think I like this one better than Plain Jane just because I like the color story a little bit better, which is sort of surprising because I'm not usually like a blue, but just the way that it looks, it gives you like a grunge vibe while still being like blue purple. So let's go ahead and get started with a look. I do want to use Ninhydrin and potentially the ACI 21, that dark blue. So I definitely want to use these two shades because I haven't used them before. And I'm going to use the first matte, so that purple gray one. And really the matte is just for my comfort more than anything, to kind of ground my shimmers and give me, and by comfort I mean like my comfort zone in doing eyeshadow. You don't have to do this, but I like it. The other thing is, so this palette's being restocked, Plain Jane is being restocked, and then their new palette is also launching, and that one I think is called Kodanne? I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard anyone say it out loud now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm very excited for that one as well. It is a 10 pan instead of a 12 pan, and it will also have two mattes. But the Adept owner is allowing people to swap out the mattes for already existing shimmers if they want to. I'm gonna get it with the mattes. If I can get it, I will get it with the mattes that it comes with because I actually like the shades. One's a bright pink and one's like a teal, and I just think that they look really cool with the color story. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the ACI 21, so that dark blue shade. This is a Refer 02. I'm just gonna build this in this outer corner because I think, yeah, it's gonna add depth and sparkle. Just in case, I like eyeshadow. I don't know what I'm doing with eyeshadow. I think that's a really important disclaimer. Makeup enthusiast, right? I like having a way to decorate myself since I'm kind of bad at dressing myself. Makeup's easier for me, and definitely a better comfort zone than clothes. My clothes are, I mean, I'm wearing a white sweatshirt, and I also have a black sweatshirt, and then I have t-shirts in black and white as well. That's ACI 21. I think that did a really good job going on maintaining its sparkle but adding like complexity. I'm trying to just, that stained my brush a little bit, but I'm gonna go in with Ninhydrin. So we're gonna do this. No, some of the shades I just prefer with my fingers. I feel like I get more control. And that was a natural bristle brush, that Refer one, so I kind of thought I wasn't gonna pick this one up the way that I wanted it to. Yeah, okay. So I like these two colors next to each other, and I'm just sort of gonna pat them into each other to blend them. This is the Refer 03, and it's a dainty little pencil brush. Let me show you another pencil brush. So this is a MAC something, but it's also a pencil brush, but you can see, if I can show you, how much thicker it is than the Refer one. I really like the Refer one. This one's also just a little bit more flexible than the MAC one. So now I'm gonna go into ACI 20. And put this in here. Okay, so see, again, this is like, if I just use my finger, I'm gonna get exactly what I want right away, which is that shade to just, and then I'm gonna take, this is a Nabla N303, and I'm taking that in ACI 20, because what I'm gonna do is just sort of blend this up and over where I had that darker matte, because that's what I like doing with my eyeshadow. And yeah, ooh, I like this look. Okay, so I'm gonna take ACI 23, which is that darker purple color, and I'm gonna do that one on the lower lash line, just to see if it's significantly different than that blue when they're put close to each other, which doesn't really seem like they are in this context. I'm gonna take ACI 22, which is this goldish color. I don't know why I'm holding the palette like that. On this flat melt brush that I don't think they make anymore, but there's literally cat hair on everything. And I'm just gonna put that right here. I do kind of like that though with the purple. I think it looks kind of neat next to each other. I would do this on a top lid someday just to get more of that, the juxtaposition of those two colors. So that's one of the things too that I like about this palette, the way that it is built, is that all of these colors can work together really, really easily. And that's really satisfying to use for me. I like palettes that are kind of like foolproof in that way, that it's not like, oh, if you put these two colors at the opposite sides of the palettes together, they're like not gonna work. Or, but like there's something else where it's like a ColourPop palette that's all brown, where yeah, you can pull colors from any spot because they're all the same. And this doesn't feel like that, but it does feel like the colors work together really well. I want to just add a little bit more of the Ninhydrin shade right here in the middle and get a little bit more of the pop of that purple back, because I think I kind of blended it away, adding a lot of the ACI 20 shade. Maybe I'll just do, since we're here and I'm probably gonna wash this off after this anyway. Oh, let's just do a completely different look on the other eye instead of me going off camera and telling you that I'm gonna match them, because I've already forgotten what I've done. So this is ACM 32. So this is that sort of brownish matte that I really like. I like to do wings with shadow. I think it's flattering on my face and eye shape, just in case you didn't know. This is a Nabla brush N304. I really like this weird shape. By the way, I packed all the makeup that existed in my apartment and unpacked it here and feel like I have less space, which isn't true, but I was like so hyper organizing in the apartment because I had to, that I got here and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna spread stuff out. I'm gonna make sure that I can see it all and enjoy it. And I'm like, why is this not fitting into my drawers the way it used to fit into my drawers? And where did I put this? And what have I been doing? So that's an interesting phenomenon, and an interesting thing to learn about how well I was sort of tucking everything away when I had such a small amount of space to be dealing with. So we really used, you know, these 5 shades plus that one. I definitely want to use these two, and then maybe we'll do like the pinks. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I want to use these 2 shades and maybe this one and one of the pinks, since in this last look we used these 5 shades mostly with like just a touch of that one. So let's see. So let's do, I'm gonna use my finger. I'm sorry if you hate that, but ACI 19 is the one with that like purple green shift. Oops, kind of like a beetle. So we're gonna do that here and just let that one really shine. It definitely seems like it has a gray base to it, so it doesn't pop in the same way that some deeper shades like it can, but I think that's why when I'm saying the palette feels grungy, it's things like that, like the undertones of these shadows have a little bit more subtlety than some others, which is nice. I like that. I'm gonna take that Refer brush that I talked about liking, the little pencil brush, and go into ACI 25, which is that green shade. And I'm gonna do that one here. Oh. And so there is a little bit of a green flip in this shade that I put all over the lid. And I think this kind of, it almost de-emphasizes the green flip because it's so green, but I kind of like it. Yeah. I'm gonna bring a little bit more of the ACI 19 just a little bit into my crease. So I'm gonna take ACI 22, which is that sort of goldish shade, gold pink color. It flips between the two, on a fluffier brush, and just kind of do this. So you just get some of like diffused sparkle. ACI 18, which is this more rose gold shade, on the bottom lash line. Okay, so that's with ACI 18. I'm gonna go into ACD 18, just that really light pink diamond formula and just go right here on the lower inner corner. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back into the matte that we used and see what I can do here. All right. All right. Okay, so these are my two looks with the Adept Cosmetics Ninhydrin palette. We used nearly all the shades, I think. Yeah, I believe we used all of them except ACI 24. That's the only one that didn't get used. And that's this sort of purple teal flashy one. That one. It's the only one that we didn't use, but you can see you can get this really sort of purple smoky. You can get sort of something more grungy, but I do really, really enjoy the Adept Cosmetics palettes. I like the color stories a lot. I know that there's some discussion about the formula changing because of some things happening, brand, property, whatever. So I hope it doesn't change in a bad way, obviously, but I think as long as the owner of the brand continues with the color stories and the inspiration and those kinds of things, that the brand is going to do great and still be really interesting to me. I do like this formula a lot. I'm excited to try to pick up the Kodanne palette on Saturday. If you're interested in this one or the Plain Jane, make sure to check out their Instagram for updates on when those are going to go live on Saturday, May 29th. So a couple notes about this formula too. Just this iridescent formula, it can crease on me by the end of the day, and we're talking like 8-9 hours into the day. It can crease on me. I have pretty creasy lids, so that's not like a deal breaker for me. I also usually don't prime my eyes because I'm lazy. But if I use a decent eye primer underneath it, they don't crease. It's just my normal, it's like the only part of my face that, hey, no ma'am. It's the only part of my face that's kind of oily is my lids over time, but like I said, an eyeshadow primer does take care of that for me. But it's just, I think that's the only thing that I would want people to be mindful of, is that it's not like this, it's gonna stay super metallic all day long. It's a little emollient of an eyeshadow formula, and so it can crease on your eyes a little bit easier than some other formulas in my experience. But otherwise, love them, love the color stories. Hope this was useful to you in deciding whether or not to try to snag this palette on Saturday. Anyway, thank you for being patient with me while I got my life taken apart and put back together in a big move. And like, comment, subscribe, interact, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.